Hello students, have a great day and welcome back to our online lecture. Today we are going to discuss what is scheduler and types of different schedulers. Before that, just recall what we have learned in previous session. In previous session, we were learned process scheduling and different types of processing queues. First, that is the scheduling. The process scheduling is one of the most important activity related to process. To get the CPU time, a process has to pass through various scheduling queues as well as various schedulers so that the process will be finally scheduled. The main objective of operating system is multiprogramming. For multiprogramming, it is necessary to run multiple programs at all times. This utilizes CPU and I/O devices fully. The main aim of time-sharing operating system is to keep CPU switching among multiple devices. To meet these both objectives of multiprogramming and time sharing, the processes should schedule according to their priorities. The processes are arranged in queue. Each process is associated with its respective process control block, that is PCB. The process scheduler selects an available process from set of available queues for execution. For a single processor, there will be only one process running at the given time. If there are more processes, they will have to wait till the CPU gets free and can be rescheduled. This is the importance of scheduling. In operating system, there are different types of queues are used. That is job queues, ready queues and devices queue. The job queue, as processor enters the system, they are put into a job queue. Means set of all processes in the system, those are placed into the job queue. Second, that is the ready queue. Set of all processes residing in main memory, ready and waiting to execute. Means what? The queues which store the processes which are in the ready state and wants to enter in the running state is known as ready process queue. Only one process can enter in the running state in a uniprocessor system, but the other processes have to remain waiting in the ready state for their turn to come. A large number of algorithms are available to transfer the processes from ready state to running state. The ready queue is generally stored as a linked list. It contains two pointers. First pointer, it is at head, and second, that is the tail. In ready queue, the pointer of first is contain the PCB first and the tail contain the pointer of final PCB in the list. Next, device queues. Set of processes waiting for an I/O devices. Each device queue has its own device queue. In short, device queue is set or collection of processes waiting for input/output, that is the I/O devices. For each device has its own device queue. These are the three basic queues which is used in process scheduling. It is the representation of process scheduling. Here, ready queue are used. Here, arrow is represent the flow of control and rectangles are used for the queues and circles are used for the resources. First, all the processes which are ready for the execution, those are placed into the ready queue. Now, one by one, the processes which are ready for the execution are sent to the CPU. In that, there are some situation or conditions occur. The first, the process could issue an IO request and then it can be placed in IO queue. If a running process, it occurs issue related to IO request, then the process are placed from CPU to IO request queue. And then IO queue is complete their resources and the process is kept back into the ready queue. Second, the process could create a new subprocess and wait for the subprocess termination. If a running process, it creates some subprocess by using the fork system call, which is kept into the fork a child queue. First, all the childs are executed and then parent could be terminated, which is again kept back to the ready queue for the further execution. And third condition, the process could be removed forcefully from the CPU as a result of an interrupt and can be put back into the ready queue. In some cases, the process can interrupt any issue at that time. Again, it came back to the wait for an interrupt. Once interrupt is occur, then the process is forcefully removed from the CPU and kept back to the ready queue. These are the three conditions where processes are circulates. Today we are going to discuss what is scheduler and types of scheduler. A process migrates between the various scheduling queues throughout its lifetime. The operating system must select for scheduling purpose the processes from these queues in some fashion. The selection process is carried out by the appropriate scheduler. Means the function of selecting a process from one process state to or another so that it finally gets executed is called as scheduler. Scheduler is a one type of software. In that, throughout the lifetime of process, it migrates or travels to the various scheduling queues. As earlier, we see there are different scheduling queues, that is job queue, ready queue and device queue. All the processes are travel through these scheduling queues. An operating system should select processes for scheduling purpose from these queues in some style. The selection procedure is done by scheduler. In a batch system, there can be many processes which can be executed immediately. In batch system, if processes are more, then they are pulled to the mass storage device like disk in which they are kept for the later execution. The scheduler which picks up job from this pool and load into main memory for the further execution is called as long-term scheduler or job scheduler. There is another scheduler which selects the job or processes which are ready to execute from this pool and allocate to the CPU to one of them is called as short-term scheduler or CPU scheduler. The main difference in long-term scheduler and short-term scheduler is a frequency of execution. Frequency of execution means the number of times processor get execute. The short-term scheduler select a process which is ready to execute. A process may execute for a very less time, maybe in few milliseconds before waiting for an IO request. The short-term scheduler generally executes at least once every 100 milliseconds. Due to the short time between execution, short-term schedulers are fast. The long-term scheduler's frequency is less than short-term one. The reason behind this is that it takes time in minutes for a long-time scheduler to collect all the processes and load them into main memory. Due to this, long-term scheduler speed is very less as compared to short-term scheduler. The main aspect of long-term scheduler is that it controls the degree of multiprogramming. The degree of multiprogramming indicates the number of processes in memory. If the degree of multiprogramming is constant, then the average rate of process creation should be equal to the average departure rate of processes leaving the system. There is one advantage for long-term scheduler, that is, due to big interval between execution, this scheduler gets sufficient time to decide which process should be selected for execution. It is necessary that long-term scheduler should carefully select processes for the execution. There are two types of processes known as I/O bound processes and CPU bound processes. The process which spend more time in I/O operation than CPU is called as I/O bound processes, and the processes which spend more time in CPU than I/O devices is called as CPU bound process. It is important that long-term schedulers select a good mixture of CPU bound and I/O bound processes. Due to the good combination of CPU bound and I/O bound, the system will be balanced and no queue will be empty. This is useful for even short-term scheduler to select proper process for the execution. It is about the scheduler. There are three types of scheduler which are used for the process scheduling, that is long-term scheduler, short-term scheduler and medium-term scheduler. First, that is the long-term scheduler. Long-term schedulers, it is also called as a job scheduler. It selects which processes should be brought into the ready queue. In this diagram, we will see what is the long-term scheduler and what is the short-term scheduler. First, that is the long-term scheduler. In this diagram, it indicates the long-term scheduler, means all the set of processes in the system which are kept into the job queue. It is called as a job pool, means all the system related processes are kept into job pool. Then one by one the processes from the job queue or job pool are placed into ready queue. It is called as a long-term scheduler. Also, it is called as a job scheduler. A long-term scheduler determines which programs are admitted to the system for the processing. It selects processes from the queue and load into memory for the execution. The processes from the queues are load into ready queue or into main memory for the execution, that is called as the long-term scheduler. Processes loads into the memory for CPU scheduling. When a process changes the state from new to ready, then there is the use of long-term scheduler. As earlier we see the state of processes. There are 5 states of processes, that is new, ready, running, waiting and terminate. The process when change is state from new state to the ready state at that time the long-term scheduler is used. So it is very simple definition of long-term scheduler. The processes which are from the job queue are loaded into main memory or ready queue, that is called as a long-term scheduler. The scheduler which is responsible for keeping the limited number of processes in the ready queue so that the competition for CPU get reduced is known as long-term scheduler. The long-term scheduler disallows processes beyond a certain limit for batch processes first. Then it disallows the processes beyond a certain limit for interactive processes also in the end. The long-term scheduler also provides a balanced mix of jobs such as processor bound and IO bound, that is the CPU bound processes and IO bound processes, to the short-term scheduler. It reduces the overhead on the operating system. The long-term scheduler checks and sends only a limited number of new processes to enter in the ready queue so that they enter in the ready state, which is already seen in this diagram. In short, the long-term schedulers are select those processes from the job queue which are ready for the execution and load into main memory. That all process is called as a long-term scheduler. So it is also called as a job scheduler because the processes which are load into from job queue to the ready queue. So it is called as a job scheduler. Next, that is the short-term scheduler. Short-term scheduler, it is also called as a CPU scheduler. Select which processes should be executed next and allocates CPU. In short, short-term scheduler, it selects a process from ready queue and allocate to CPU for the further execution. That is called as a short-term scheduler. In short-term scheduler, the processes allocate the CPU, that's why it is also called as a CPU scheduler. It is the change of ready state to running state of the processes. The processes which change the state from ready state to the running state, it is the change of state. CPU scheduler select a process among the processes that are ready to execute and allocate CPU to one of them. Short-term schedulers are faster than the long-term scheduler because short-term scheduler are select those processes which are ready for the execution. So already the process are prepared for the execution, so it takes very less time, and finally or direct allocate the CPU for the execution. The scheduler which decides which of the ready processes from the ready queue is allocated with the CPU so that it is scheduled and get executed is known as short-term scheduler. To perform its function, there are various algorithms are used, like first in first out, that is the FIFO algorithm. Second, shortest job first, that is the SJF algorithm. Priority based scheduling and round robin scheduling. These algorithms are used for the scheduling. Any one of the scheduling algorithm is used by the short-term scheduler for the process scheduling. The short-term scheduler is actually responsible for scheduling the processes. The short-term scheduler also controls the dispatch system call. As earlier, we see the diagram of process state. In that, two issues are allocated in the when processes are change state from the ready to running. One is the interrupt system call and another is the dispatch system call. In short, the short-term scheduler are the processes which are ready for the execution or in the ready queues are loaded into CPU for the execution, that is called as the short-term scheduler. If a running process, it requires some I/O devices at that time, those processes are swapped out from the CPU into waiting state. In waiting state, all the I/O events are completed and again those processes are kept into ready queue. So it is called as a short-term scheduler. In some operating system, the long-term scheduler may not be present or minimal. The example of this is Windows or Unix operating system where long-term scheduler is not present. In this system, every new process is kept into main memory for the execution. It affects the stability of the system. In some operating system, the long-term scheduler may not be present or minimal, but the short-term scheduler should be used in each and every operating system. Without short-term scheduler, the process is not executed properly. In some time-sharing system, an additional scheduling level may get added. This level is nothing but medium-term scheduling or scheduler. The main purpose of medium-term scheduler is that it removes the processes from main memory and again reloads afterwards when required, which is shown in this diagram. Medium-term scheduling, it is the part of swapping. It removes the processes from the main memory. Here, when a processes are loaded into CPU for the execution at that time, after some time, the process requires some I/O devices at that time. The processes in the CPU are swapped out, means partially executed swapped processes are here, and again those processes which are swapped out, those are swapped into the ready queue. This process is called as a medium-term scheduler. A running process may become suspended if it makes an I/O request. A suspended process cannot make any progress towards completion. In this condition, to remove the process from memory and make space for other processes, the suspended processes is moved to the secondary storage. This process is called as a swapping, and the process is set to the swapped out or rollout. The swapping may be necessary to improve the processes mix. Means, as earlier we see, the process which is from job queue are placed into ready queue, that is called as a medium-term scheduler and long-term scheduler, and the processes which are from ready queue are placed into CPU for the execution, that is called as a short-term scheduler. But in time-sharing operating system, the medium-term scheduler is used. The concept of medium-term scheduler is that the processes are swapped out. Means a processes are suspended to stop the execution for a time or delay of time. Means the processes are partially executed, those processes are removed from the main memory and again stored into secondary storage. Again, when it requires, again those processes are swapped into the ready queue for the further execution. The main purpose of medium-term scheduler is that it removes the processes from main memory and again reload afterwards when required, which is shown in figure. This process is called as swapping. It is a memory management technique. Process could be swapping memory and swap out from memory as per the requirement and availability of the memory. This is helpful to improve the performance of the system. It can maintain the multiprogramming degree of operating system. In short, the medium-term scheduler has to work in close coordination with the long-term scheduler. The scheduler which selects a processes from the waiting state and ready swapped out queue and moves it into a ready queue is known as medium-term scheduler. It will move the processes into ready queue before the long-term scheduler moves any processes into the ready queue. Means the ready queue has accept the queues from the job queue and the medium term scheduling swap out processes. In that, first the swapped out processes had more priority than the job queue processes. The medium term scheduler have more priority than the long term scheduler. All these three schedulers interact among themselves quite closely to ensure that the computing resources are managed optimally. So these are the three scheduler types, that is the long-term scheduler, short-term scheduler and medium-term scheduler. Again, I will explain in short, that is the long-term scheduler. The processes are from job queues are loaded into main memory or in ready queue, that is called as a long-term scheduler. And the processes from ready queue which are placed or loaded into CPU for the execution, it is called as a short-term scheduler. Long-term scheduler, it is also called as a job scheduler, and short-term scheduler, it is also called as the CPU scheduler. Next, that is the medium-term scheduler. This is the additional scheduler type which is used in time-sharing operating system. In that, it removes the processes from main memory and again reload afterwards when it requires. It is called as a medium-term scheduler. Next, the difference between long-term scheduler, short-term scheduler and medium-term scheduler. First, long-term scheduler, it is also called as a job scheduler. Short-term scheduler, it is also called as a CPU scheduler, and medium-term scheduler, it is also called as a process swapping scheduler. The speed of these three scheduler, the speed is lesser than short-term scheduler. The speed is fastest among other two. Means the speed of short-term scheduler is faster than long-term scheduler and medium-term scheduler. The speed of medium-term scheduler is in between both, that is the long-term and short-term scheduler. In long-term scheduler, it controls the degree of multiprogramming. In short-term scheduler, it provides lesser control over degree of multiprogramming. And in medium-term scheduler, it reduces the degree of multiprogramming. Next, in long-term scheduler, it is almost absent or minimal in time-sharing system. The example of Windows and Unix operating system, the long-term scheduler is absent or it's a very less use of this. Short-term scheduler, it is also minimal in time-sharing system. And medium-term scheduler, it is the part of time-sharing system. Long-term scheduler, it selects processes from job queue or job pool and load them into main memory for the execution, that is called as long-term scheduler. Short-term scheduler, it selects those processes which are ready for the execution and assigned to the CPU for the execution is called as short-term scheduler. And last, that is the medium-term scheduler. In that, it can reintroduce the processes into memory and execution can be continued. Means it removes the processes from main memory and again reloaded afterwards when it requires is called as a medium-term scheduler. In today's lecture, we learn what is scheduler and different types of scheduler. In short, a scheduler, it is the function of selecting a processes from one process state to another and it finally get executed is called as a scheduler. There are three basic types of scheduler, that is the long-term scheduler, short-term scheduler and medium-term scheduler. First, that is the long-term scheduler. The long-term scheduler is the processes which are select from the job pool and keep into ready queue for the execution is called as a long-term scheduler. It is also called as a job scheduler because initially all the set of processes in the system are kept into job queue or job pool, so that it is called as a job scheduler. And the processes change the state from the new to ready state, then there is use of long-term scheduler. Likewise, short-term scheduler, the processes from ready queue are placed into the CPU for the execution is called as a short-term scheduler. So, in short-term scheduler, each and every process is allocated a CPU for the execution. It is the main object of operating system, so it is called as a CPU scheduler. For the CPU scheduler, there are different algorithms are used like first come first served, shortage of first, priority based algorithms and round robin algorithms for selecting the processes for the execution. And it changes the state from ready state to running state of the processes. The CPU scheduler selects a process among the processes that are in ready queue and to execute in CPU is called as the short-term scheduler. The short-term scheduler are faster than long-term scheduler. And it is the difference between them. Thank you.